been a hot minute, guys. Welcome back. I'm Dr. Kale, and today we're going to be talking about a subject that I personally love and hate, and that's guild mastering and running a guild. And this is kind of a very loaded topic, as there are so many different types of guilds you can run. So I'll be going over all the topics on what I think, and keep in mind this is very opinionated from my standpoint, and being in guild leadership most of my WoW career. So that being said, let's get into it, and we'll start off with the topics. All right, we've got benefits, managing expectations, best worst case scenarios, stress and joy of being a guildmaster, casual versus semi-hardcore versus hardcore, and socials on there, but I kind of grouped that in with casual. I guess role-playing, I don't even know where that would be because I've never done that, but that's probably in there somewhere too. And recruitment, and the never-ending job that can be for some guild masters. All right, we're going to get into the benefits of being a guild master, and maybe these benefits are why people are drawn to being in the guild master role. Again, this is so vast because while you're the guild master, you can do everything, kind of like I do, and get carried. You can have other people do each little job, and maybe you either are just the raid leader, or maybe you're the PR guy and you're not even a raid leader, but you're a solid raider that just kind of wants to be the head of the show. Most people that are guild masters, I would say in TBC Classic, I seem to be, or that I have noticed, are the big benefit for me that I see in other guilds is they get to play the role they want. Maybe they're the Fury Warrior or the Rogue, and they're thinking in their mind that, hell, I'm going to get glaives, or because I'm Guildmaster, I can get all the fat loot first. I can tell you from experience that is a very bad play. But again, it doesn't really stop people from doing it because there are so many guilds and content may be easier, so everyone's clearing. And Tier 5's kind of, stopping a lot of casual guilds, but it's not to stop them from clearing it once it gets nerfed. I think another big benefit for a lot of people is the accomplishment of being able to do it and to succeed at doing it. For whatever reason your guild exists, achieving guild goals as a guild master is very self-rewarding in its own. Telling people what to do can kind of be cool at times too. I know I was getting my ass kicked at the Tempest Keep Stone one time, and this was on not our main group, but being able to ask the whole raid to come out and fucking swarm the people that were killing me is kind of a fun and funny benefit as well. Moving on to the biggest topic for most guilds is managing expectations. People need to know, what your goals are, what you expect of them, what they should expect of you. If all of these are met and you manage expectations properly and very clearly and efficiently, and however you manage it, that's usually what's going to keep players retained inside your guild, otherwise called guild retention. It's going to keep people from, being poached, leaving for, anger issues because they were told one thing and something else happened. This is something that I can't stress enough. If you're being a guild master in any type of serious guild, this should be a very big thing to you and should be, executed or managed at a high level, and you need to take it very seriously, or you need to have somebody fill that role of managing everyone's expectations. If you're saying you're going to be the top guild on the server, or a top 10 guild NA for progress or speed, that's something that you would probably want to uphold, especially if you're recruiting people in and telling them that. If you're telling them, we're a semi-casual guild and we got a Karazhan group or a ZA group for you, and, they come in and they join the guild. Come raid time, they don't have a spot. You're probably going to piss some people off. Managing expectations on multiple levels from, that standpoint of, how are you going to raid, how are you going to handle loot, or how you're going to progress as a guild. Again, no matter if you're serious or not serious, you really want to hit on all fronts, and then that way, if they end up leaving the guild and they make some things up, and you have proof that, hey man, in your interview we told you what we're gonna be, then don't feel bad. For the more social guilds, just remember, if you invite a lot of people, or a lot of people have the privilege or right to invite other people to the guild, you might see a high turnover rate of plenty of people joining and leaving the guild, and that's okay. Remember, it doesn't matter really what you're trying to do, but just don't get discouraged if you have a bunch of people leaving your guild. If you are a social guild with, 60 to 100 people online at any given time. And now let's go over best and worst case scenarios. Best case scenario is your guild is successful in your eyes and it lasts as long as you want it to. The worst case scenario is your guild has a dramatic event and it folds up very quick and you have accomplished nothing. All jokes aside, again, best case scenario is, your guild does reach its goals. No matter what those goals would be, you reach them, you reach them as a team. That's usually the idea behind a guild. It's not just you doing things for yourself. It's you doing things with people you enjoy playing the game with. For me, it's just being a successful guild, clearing content, aiming as high as we possibly can. Try to stay in top 50 for NA. That's Get Carried's goals. Other than that, we're chill. You might be a PvP guild and having the top arena teams in your guild, or something like that. Social guild of just hanging out all the time. You could be, I saw one PvP guild. They like every other day they would go to the opposing faction's bank and hold it down. Kind of fun. I've done that before and it is really fun. So it doesn't have to just strictly be arena. Worst case scenario, is your guild falls apart. You have drama every other day. Your job is stressful as a GM. It makes the game not fun. It makes you want to quit the game or quit that role. There's a lot of things that lead up to that, and if you've ever put a guild down, you know exactly what we're talking about. Those days suck. You could have a bad day of raiding and you lose 4 or 5 players to either being poached or them quitting. Those days suck, but the good come with the bad and the bad come with the good. So just keep your head up when those days happen. And, I like that saying. It's life is 10% what happens to you, 90% with how you deal with it. It's a pretty true saying in the GM world of running a guild. You gotta take the punches and move on. It's gonna suck. Sometimes taking a step back to take huge leaps forward is mandatory. Sometimes taking those steps back kill your guild. It happens. Hopefully you surround yourself with people that are there to help you build the community you want to build inside your guild. And that's okay. All right, next subject is stress and joy. Kind of again, big subject here is you might have yourself a guild that maybe has almost no stress because the expectation is low enough or non-existent in the aspect of you have no guild goals, so you really could never be stressed out. You don't care if there's people online. You don't care if you succeed at raiding or PvP. Great. I mean, that's what makes casual guilds fun in that aspect. On the other end, you might be a raiding guild and recruitment might get hard, or you're missing a player, you lost a group of people, so then stress starts, climbing up on you because you feel you have to uphold this raid environment, and now your other raiders are going to be looking to you for answers. And then on the other end of it's joy, where raid's going good, recruitment's solid, you have a solid bench, maybe your arena team's doing great, your guild PvP is popping off, you're having a lot of activity with battleground nights or whatever you may host. Again, this kind of goes back to the good comes with the bad and the bad comes with the good. Being a GM can be stressful, just kind of depending on the type of environment that you want, or your guild expectation of, are you hitting your goals? Are people happy here? Are you retention? Are you retaining the players that you keep in your guild? You know, that's one thing I always try to explain to people is being a guild master at times can be one of the most stressful things, and it's not healthy when you're gaming. Kind of sucks, but it kind of comes with the territory depending on how serious your guild is. I mean, some of my most fun nights in Get Carried is when, we've killed a progression boss, or we speed cleared something where our time is good enough. There's a lot of joyous moments in being a GM, and those are the ones you really got to hold on to, because again, you'll have the alternative on other nights. So just keep your head up. Don't let the stress get to you. Of course, guys, if it's stressing you out to where it's messing around with you in real life, I probably, would advise being against a guild master or letting somebody else handle it. All right. This subject is a big one for me because it is something I feel I do exceptional at. Any type of guild you have, of course, you want to recruit players. You want to have more people in your guild. You want to create a community with your goals in mind, and just you want to create a fun atmosphere for you and others alike. Recruitment borderline can be a part-time job by itself. I currently have done recruitment for over a decade, and in the heat of things, when guilds need strong players, recruitment is, at least for the rating aspect of it, I couldn't imagine PvP recruitment to be very difficult, other than just asking if they PvP and I guess what's their ratings and shit. But for rating, which is this really kind of sticks to, is it's a lot. You need to spam on multiple platforms, from Discord, multiple Discords. You can use Reddit. You can use the online forums. You can spam trade chat. There are so many different types of recruitment, but usually you have to be active. So if you are maybe not a GM, but if you're doing recruitment for your guild, you need to be on top of it. You need to figure out an application process. If you don't want to do applications, I'd highly advise against that, as players that don't want to fill out an app to your guild don't really care in general. It takes 5-10 minutes. It can be very simple, and the more hardcore you are, your application can be more in-depth and longer. It's not real hard. Most applications I see nowadays are just quick Google Docs, character name, logs, screenshot of UI, to make sure you're not clicking. Recruitment literally, though, is you could spend 15-20 hours a week. If your guild needs players, you need to be out there grinding. You need to be out there getting your name out there, finding players. Part of recruitment is poaching. I don't really try to poach, but I know it's popular. And by popular, I mean it is popular. Strong guilds poach strong players from weaker guilds. It's kind of how it goes. It sucks having your players poached. On the other end, if you pick up players that already have full best in slot from a phase, it's really nice. So it's really nice from them strong guilds to pick up strong players that already have all the gear. Just don't sleep on recruitment. It's currently what kills guilds. A lot of guilds recruit players that, are just half-assing it, missing raids, always posting out. I can tell you right now, if I go to White Main Discord, every other message is a group of players looking for a guild, and their guilds have died because 10 players were hardcore, 15 players weren't. Always be recruiting. If you're running a 25-man, probably should have 30 people in that raid. Run a bench, have people okay with the bench, find players that are okay with being flexible. Just do right by them. If they're going to be flexible and ride the bench, make sure they're as close to best in slot before the next phase. Don't shit on those players. Every guild, if you talk to any raiding guild, I promise you, any raid leader or GM have these players, these group of individuals that they're okay with sitting and they're never bothered by it as long as you do right by them, and they make a guild way more easy to run. I promise you. If you are that player where you're okay with being benched as long as you get to raid when they can use you and you're okay with it, fucking awesome. You are a fucking hero. You know, you might have to run a GDKPs or alt runs where you're not guaranteed going to kill every boss your main group does, but Budweiser, real men of genius, you're a fucking hero and shouldn't be thought of less. So, kudos to those. Call him the 26th man. It's a shout out to Zidane. That's the first time I ever heard it was with that kid. But again, these are players that are totally chill. They're there for the guild, right? So, don't ever sleep on recruitment. Again, it takes a lot of work to get quality players in your guild. And the more successful your guild is in your aspect, the easier it is to recruit. So if you're a raiding guild, the higher rated you are, as in progress or speed kills, the easier it is going to be to recruit. The higher the rank you are on execution speed and progress, again, on your realm rank matters. All that shit matters when it comes to recruitment. Anything you can stand out from the rest, great. Like, if you come to, our current server, Whitemane, if you're not 10 out of 10 and you're 8 out of 10, you're probably struggling with recruitment because you have nothing that stands out from other guilds. So you really got to be out there recruiting. And you got to try to keep in mind when you're recruiting, you can take players, but if your comp is scuffed, it's going to maybe make progression a little harder if you're stacking a bunch of melee in tier 5. So that's just an example. It could be, I think in tier 4 it really doesn't matter, but there are phases that kind of require, maybe more range DPS in general to make fights easier. Maybe you need more healers. It really sucks if you lose a tank and trying to find a tank. That's kind of a hard role because you got to find a tank that fits in and maybe it needs to be vocal. But again, don't ever sleep on recruitment. Always stay recruiting. Can't stress that enough. Even when you think you're okay, have a good group of players that you at least talk to. That way, if a spot opens up, maybe you can reach out to them. So, again, recruitment is a big one for me, and it's what can keep a lot of guilds alive, or it can kill guilds if they don't recruit. Your server can really hinder you too. If your server's dying and you're trying to recruit from a dead server, it sucks because the pool of players is so small. So, alrighty, that would be it for recruitment. Guys, to wrap up this long and boring video that I made, honestly, just because I wanted to, there's no wrong way to run a guild. Regardless, if you fail, you'll learn some shit. If you succeed, fucking awesome. Generically, I think the game will always need successful GMs or people that know how to run guilds in their own aspect. I guess I really don't see a lot of PvP guilds, technically. I mean, I know there are guilds that have just a lot of arena players, but most of your high-end arena players are also looking for raiding guilds where they're getting the PvE loot for PvP. So, casual guilds or maybe friends and family or dad guilds as they're called, where they're clearing what they can and they don't care if they clear it all. Those guilds are awesome too. They serve their purpose in the aspect of, maybe people learning the raid or, being in an environment where they can mess up mechanics and then not be, yelled at or anything like that and take things at their own pace. And that's okay. I hope if this video served you any purpose, the one big thing, I guess, for raiding and running a guild is be very well structured. Google Docs, pre-posting your raid schedule, your raid comp, everybody, your roster. If you know the roster that's going, post it ahead of time. I'm not a huge fan for people signing up for raid. If I recruit you to my guild, I expect you to be there on raid nights, and it's up to you to tell me when you can't be there. So I try to find people with open schedules that fits our raid times. It kind of, goes on to recruitment. So, you've got hardcore guilds, which usually are killing world bosses. They are speed clearing, progress killing. They're top 10 in every aspect. To me, a semi-casual or semi-hardcore guild is a guild that's clearing the first week, but maybe not pushing as hard, maybe not requiring like every min-max thing. Maybe people aren't using jewel crafting necklaces, or they're definitely not going to get world boss loot. Hardcore guilds will raid around the clock and run schedules in order to scout world bosses. I'd say if you are semi-hardcore and you're not clearing content within 1 to 2 weeks, I probably wouldn't use that title semi-hardcore, because no part about you is semi-hardcore. Unless you rated only like 5 hours a week tops. But I don't know. It's a kind of a weird thing. Casual guilds, yeah, these are guilds that probably don't clear content pre-nerf. Maybe they're probably going to be the most fun you'll ever have, to be honest, if just raiding with your friends is what you like. So you go in there, you're never mad that you're not clearing all content. There might be pugs that are better than you, and that's okay. Have fun. Be in there and enjoy the moments. Stream it, clip it, have some of the, funny Discord conversations. It's what makes the game fun. But if this video helped you become a better guildmaster, great. If it was long and boring and wasted your time, I'm sorry. My channel's for shit I want to look back on down the road. So appreciate you guys' time, and as always, I'll see you on the next video.